Protect your privacy and your freedom. Use a VPN. Discount code for NordVPN in the description below with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Okay, here we go. I got rid of it. All right, so this is the weekly chart of gold against the dollar. And I think in the last week they were crashing the dollar before the US market opened.
So
naked shorting it big time.
If you look, it's the same as 2008, which is they had a crisis, gold crash. Then as soon as the gold started, you can see there like 2000. Where's the crash in 2008? But you see the gold went down, right?
I'll get to that. I'll get to 2008.
Yeah, no, it's 2007, 2008. But you see the gold was at 14. It's too far back.
It reached 1900 at the highest. It was this recent all-time high. So here's 2007 running up.
Yeah.
And then it went down.
So 2008, it went up. So before the crisis happened, it went up. Then during the crisis, it crashed, right? Then what we saw afterward is the government stimulus started. And money. They're just running the money printing machines 24/7. And gold shot up from $700 to almost $2,000 an ounce.
Yeah,
so that's the same thing that we're going to see with this coronavirus is we have a small crash, everyone panics, and then it's going to go up. Now, people are asking how much can gold go up, and basically, I think if we have a global reserve currency, if China comes out and says we're going to back the yuan by the gold, and Russia does that, if every country went back to gold currency, gold would be about $30,000 an ounce. So gold right now can only go up 20x. If everyone on Earth went back to using gold, coins for payments, gold will go up 20x. So yeah, I think you can make a little bit of money on gold, but the ceiling is only 20x from where it is now. It's actually pretty high.
Yeah. But I can get it. It is going to go up, and I think there's going to be a separation at some point between the paper markets, which determine the price, and the physical, because premiums have gone up on physical because you can't get a hold of it. I know, I've tried.
So the Chinese government did a really funny thing.
Mm-hmm.
They have what's called the Shanghai Physical Exchange, and it's the gold exchange where they only trade physical gold. So they have paper gold like ETF. Then Shanghai has physical gold. So it's like, oh, you have paper gold. We have real gold. Like they have one bar for every bar they're trading. And this is actually, I think, so that the Chinese government can buy up more gold in secret and say that it's private companies buying it, so they don't have to actually report the numbers. And the Chinese gold is actually priced higher than the Hong Kong gold. So the people buy gold in China, and then they sell it they buy it in Hong Kong, and then they bring it into Hong Kong, and then they sell it in Shanghai. So I think that the government can, print up money and buy gold. And this is one of the facilities for the Chinese government to acquire more gold in secret. And Russia does something very similar, in all these countries, because officially they get yelled at if they buy too much gold. And I think what the Chinese, if they really want to screw the U.S., is they're going to screw HSBC, screw the gold ETF, and they're going to cause a separation between the physical gold and the paper gold. And if the physical gold goes 2x over the paper gold, or there's a discrepancy in the exchange, then that's going to cause a lot of problems.
That'll crash the gold paper markets completely.
Yes. And then Shanghai is the physical market, so that means the Chinese will take over the gold trading. So I think it's economic warfare, and I don't think they've pressed that button too hard, or that they're after they got hit by the virus, I don't think they're ready to start a fight with the U.S. right now. Yeah. I think that they're going to bite their lip and just limp on and try to recover. And I don't think that they're going to be agitating the trade war too much.
Yeah,
I think that they're probably going to give the U.S. whatever they want and just try to deal with their problems right now.
I think part of that, Synth, is my understanding about Chinese culture is that they tend to take a longer term view than the US and European cultures, and I include Britain in that as well. So they'll play a very slow, patient game. I think
they will never openly challenge the United States. If Trump asks them to buy $50 billion of U.S. oil, they'll fight and grumble, but they'll give in basically and agree because they're just going to hold this off as long as they can, and they're going to try to strengthen their position and let the enemy just destroy themselves.
Yep. And the other thing that they're doing that I'd like you to comment on is China's about to launch its own digital currency.
There's a lot of so Skycoin is involved with the Blockchain Plus initiative in China, and we're not in that big group with like Huawei and the big companies, but I don't think any of the tech that they're going to be using is going to come out of those companies. But basically, Blockchain Plus, we have to set up education centers in each city, and the companies will pay to have employees go to these to learn how to program blockchain applications for industry. And unless you're doing industry applications, you're not allowed to use blockchain. So they're getting rid of all these scams and multi-level marketing and trying to integrate blockchain with AI and 5G and telecom. And they want industry to start using blockchain for pharmaceutical tracking and supply chain tracking, and to integrate that into their industrial system. So they're trying to build a blockchain industry collaboration in China, and we're heavily involved. We're dealing with that, but it's actually very funny. You see 400 blockchain companies, but all of them, there's only like 5 companies actually. Most of the companies are just raising money so that they can get money. They don't have a product, they don't have a customer, they're not doing industry applications, they don't even have a blockchain or software. So of those companies, when we've dealt with the government and talked to them, what we found out is they had 10,000 companies they talked to, and only 4 companies had blockchain or developers, and you can see that from Skycoin's GitHub, and so one of the initiatives is Binance and these other, like OKX, Binance, and the large 3 Chinese exchanges. I think the government is going to start pressing them to start removing lower grade crypto assets, like blockchain companies that don't have blockchain technology and don't have software developers and that aren't being used in industry. So I think in the next 2-3 years, you're going to see a cleanup of the market, and the Chinese government is going to allow people to have publicly traded tech companies that have crypto equity. You're going to be able to buy shares in startups on a regulated market, and it's going to be. They're still cleaning up their stock market. Like they just had a scandal with some coffee company like Luckin Coffee overstating their earnings by 300 million, and financial fraud. So they're really trying to clean up their equity markets, because if the markets are clean,
hold on one second. Sorry.
If the markets, their equity markets aren't clean, and there's not going to be a lot of investor confidence, and they're going to have trouble getting foreign companies to incorporate on that market. And I think that what China is going to do is they have to internationalize. If they want Shanghai to be the international center for the world, and they want to take over from New York and London, they're going to have to. It's going to have to be English speaking. It's going to have its own court, its own legal system that's not in Chinese. They're going to have their own equities exchange. They're going to have to make it very easy for people to raise capital internationally. They're going to have to make it easy for people to bring money in without all this KYC, and people that have money and they don't want to deal with all this bullshit you have to deal with in the United States. Like, bring your money here. We're the best place for your money. We give you the best returns. If they want to be and I think so. This is really this geopolitical war between the U.S. and China is where the next financial system is going to be. I think that they hit China hard. All the foreigners left. I'm like the only foreigner left in Shanghai. There's like 2 of us left. And China was basically destroyed by this virus. A few years of economic growth wiped out in a few months. But I think that instead of like laying down, I think that they're going to, once the virus is done, the government's handled it. I think that they're going to start a very aggressive economic stimulus, and they're going to do whatever they have to get back on track.
Okay.
And I think that they're going to recover faster than a lot of the Western economies.
Okay.
I think a lot of the Western economies, they have a lot of debt. And the Chinese government basically printed up money and buys off the debt and then throws it in the trash and burns it. Like the banks in the West are never going to do that. They're never going to let these people get out of their loans or their debt. They're going to be they're like hauling this huge rock, right? And everyone knows that this debt can't be paid. I know that in the West the money's created. So the difference, there's a secret in the banking system.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We can come to the economics of this whole situation a little bit later, right? I want to go back. There's something you said earlier about how these exchanges are going to clean up lots and lots of coins that don't have anything functioning, right? Which is kind of relevant because you alluded to that right at the beginning about the Skycoin price, right? So let's have a look at Skycoin price, which is currently 46.7 cents, 347 on Coin Market Cap, which is now it has been rising since about the middle of March. Yeah. But I was really surprised.
In January, we started going up. We were really on track. You see this, like January to February, we're going up, we're going up, we're going up. We had a really good growth. We got our marketing in order. We got, we're doing a product release every week. We had a lot of momentum. But then you look, and then this virus hit and screwed up my, it screwed up my trend line. It fucked my trend line. So I'm pissed at this virus, not because these dead people, I'm feeling killed, because it screwed my trend line. This was going really well until that virus. So now, now it's March. Now stuff starts to recover, and we're going up in dollars, but we're going down in satoshis because a lot of people are moving their altcoins into Bitcoin to take advantage of this halving. Then after that, they rebalance. Then we have to go back and But anyway, we had the mainnet, and a lot of people were really excited about that. Right. Because the mainnet's going, and And I think that within a year or two, we could be back in a crypto bubble where we go back to the all-time high. So the thing I have to say, which is unfortunate, is that the market is like the tides. All the money is either going into crypto or it's all leaving. And when the money is leaving, what can I do? You could do 500 product releases and no one cares. When the money started leaving the crypto market, we had McAfee. He did a tweet about Skycoin, and all these people saw the tweet, and it didn't move. The price didn't move, and people were like, "What the hell?" It was just flat. Before, when McAfee did a tweet, the price of these coins would go up 50 times, 100 times, 200 times. So when all the money's coming in, and he does a tweet, it goes, it shoots through the roof. But then when all the money's leaving, he does a tweet, it's like, meh. So it's like the tide. All the money's coming in or all the money's coming out. So we had this period when it was just crazy, and we went from 10 cents to $50, and then all the money starts leaving, it crashes, and we're back down to 50 cents and heading back towards $1. But what's going to happen, I think, in the next 2 years is after the Bitcoin bubble, after the Bitcoin halving and the price starts going up, by the end of next year, it's possible because of the money that the Fed printed up that we're in a crazy bubble again. And I personally think, with regard to the stock market, that the stock market is going to peak, is going to hit the bottom, actually, by the end of maybe next year. By the end of 2000, I don't even know what date it is, but I looked at the data, and I think the end of 2021, that might be a year from now, 2 years from now, I think it's a year from now, but the end of next year, I think it's 2021, that's going to be the bottom of the stock market. And people are expecting a V-shaped recovery or a U-shaped recovery. I think that it's possible that because of the demographics of the Western countries and what's actually fundamentally going on in the background, we could have the stock market just sit there for 20 years or 10 years, 10 to 20 years, where the stock market is not moving. So everyone, the Saudis, the Russians, the Chinese, everyone was going into the US stock market because they were delivering 8% to 10% returns every year. And who doesn't want to get 10% a year, right? It was great while it lasted. But when the market is not going up 10% a year and it's just sitting there for 20 years and not moving, all that money is going to go try to find something else that they can earn a return on. And the stock market's not going to be attractive. The bond market interest rates are going to be suppressed by the Fed. So there's no one's going to be buying bonds. And the real estate market is going to be declining. It's going to be at peak. And even if it's not declining, it's going to be losing value against the real level of inflation, which you see the price of everything is going up 8 to 10% per year in the urban centers, which you have an index called the Chapwood Index. So the government says inflation is 4%, but everything's going up 10% per year in the urban regions. So even if your real estate's going up 5% a year, you're losing 5% against your purchasing power. But it looks like you're getting richer and richer on paper, but you're not. So what I'm seeing is that this money, there's a huge amount of money in the trillions of dollars that you can't even imagine. And it's going here to derivatives, and next week it's going to bonds, and next week it's going into equity, and next week it's going into real estate, and next week it's going to Bitcoin. And that money, that pool of money sloshing around, this $100 trillion of paper money that has nowhere to go, is going to go to wherever it can get the highest return. And the assets that it tends to go into can't handle, even if a little fraction of that money ends up in crypto, we're going to see Bitcoin at $1 trillion, $2 trillion market cap, which is a 10 to 20x increase from where it is now. So I said before, if gold became the reserve currency, we're going to see gold 20x from where it is now. And that means gold goes from $10 trillion to 200 trillion. But Bitcoin is only at 150 billion, 250 billion. And I think that it's easily possible we go up 10x to 2 trillion. And I don't know if we'll go higher than that. I really don't. I don't know. It depends. A lot of stuff could happen. But I think it's reasonable to expect that it goes to 14,000, 20,000, 60,000. But I don't know if that's actually going to help people, because what you really want is income. You want assets that produce income, and gold's not producing income. Bitcoin's not producing income. Even you own an oil well, you used to be rich, but the oil price is so low, you're losing money on your oil well. So this is the problem for investors: is there's so much money. It's so easy to get a loan at 2% interest. But there's so few assets that are producing cash flow today that are stable and reliable. So, so for Skycoin, what I'm hoping, what I want to see for the Skycoin community is that we get to, we continue this price trend, and then as we go into this bubble, we pass the all-time high, we deploy the mainnet, we get Skycoin out there to the real world, and we get something tangible. So I think Skycoin is the first tangible blockchain product that's going to be in the real world, that's going to be able to have exponential user growth. And so I think, I'm happy. I'm not happy about the market cap because I really don't think we deserve to be down there in 350. We should probably be like number 4 right now. But I don't control the market, so.
All right, very good, Synth. Let's talk about Skycoin development in detail. And we've still got, later on we'll be talking about the Skycoin secret project.